So I was just meditating for a while, and when I got done meditating, I heard a message come through. And when the message came through, I was like, I think I'm going to channel this. So I have this feeling that comes over me when the wisdom keepers come and they like want to talk to me about something. And the thing with it is when you're a channel, like information can come through at any point, but any extraterrestrial or multidimensional being that's outside of the human perspective isn't ever going to force themselves on us. That's not how beings of light work. They don't work out of the ego. They don't work out of, you must listen to me right now or you're going to miss this. That's not how they work. So, over the last several years, as I've learned how to hold the frequency of channeling, I've learned how to work with the wisdom keepers in order to maintain connection with them, even when I'm not in the moment of channeling, so that I can be open to messages they have, but they're never forceful and they never are interrupting. They don't just stop me in the middle of like a workout or driving or things like that. There might be a little bit of a inner knowing that something might be wanting to come through, but benevolent be loved, but beings of light do not force themselves on us. That is a human concept. So when I get these messages, it's in the stillness where there's room to receive it. And the words that came through in this moment was, God doesn't need your forgiveness. And as soon as I heard God doesn't need your forgiveness, I started receiving all this other information because I opened up in that moment to listen. So instead of talking about what they were telling me when I heard this, I am going to get the wisdom keepers and channel it for you. So this will just take me just a second and I will pull this through for the collective. We are here to assist you in this transmission of light, an energetic exchange in which we can support you in the comprehension of yourself. In many ways, humanity is remembering. This is not a remembrance of something the soul has forgotten. It is a remembrance of the human mind and the ego and the perspective that you have of yourselves, of the multidimensional universe in which you are created from and reside in still, and the comprehension that you are light frequency expanding itself into a new conscious belief that you call human. As you are human, you begin to comprehend yourself as human, therefore forgetting parts of yourself that reside in other multidimensions. And this is a concept and a belief that you chose to have in this experience of being a human. In this experience of being a human, you have been taught many things about who you are, what you are, and how to perceive your own self and the reality in which you live. You have come into the understanding of how to be a human being and how to see yourself from that perspective. As humanity begins to shift in their conscious reality, and as they have continued to over the last many centuries and years, they have begun to comprehend themselves in a higher vibrational frequency in which they are capable of comprehending their own selves in a new awareness. Everything that is happening on Earth at this time is bringing in an awareness beyond the human logic into a perspective of a multidimensional comprehension. As you understand that you are not just human, and you reside in multi different frequencies at the same time, you will receive contact with these frequencies of yourself and you will begin to understand yourself based on the frequencies. This does not mean as a human you will fully comprehend yourself from a higher frequency. It is that you will be able to consciously understand the projection and reflection that you have in this dimension is not the full concept. It is not the full reality of who you are. In the limited perspective that you have on Earth, you are only able to see things through what the mind is capable of seeing. And this is why the earth being, the human being, must expand its conscious mind in order to perceive new, to expand the thought form, which then will allow the body, the form of a human, to expand in its knowledge and light. As humans continue to ascend into a light body, the comprehension of self shifts, which then shifts the reality outside of self. You will begin to comprehend things in a new way, and in this, you will begin to see yourself as a divine frequency of light, direct replica of Source itself, experiencing itself in new ways. Again, we encourage you to release the idea that you will comprehend this in a full way. Even us, as divine beings of light, as the keepers of wisdom, do not have the capacity to understand ourselves in the fullness of Source's energy. We have a different perspective than you on earth. Therefore, we are able to glimpse into that part of ourselves a little bit more so than what humans have been able to up until this moment. However, we do not fully comprehend the consciousness of Source because we are not projecting ourselves into that form at this moment. We are projecting ourselves into different forms in which we are experiencing ourselves, and therefore reflecting that understanding down into the consciousness to support humanity in their understanding. As you may have heard, if you have any teachings beyond what you have been told in this world about spirituality, religion, or anything that has kept your mind in a limited thought process, you may have heard that the angels are at the same frequency and a little bit lower than humanity. This is not necessarily a false teaching. However, it is not necessarily a true teaching. As you put something outside of yourself as powerful over or under, this is not the way that Source works. You do not give your power to, or you do not take power from. You remain in power of yourself, and this is what you are discovering as you ascend. You are no longer looking for sources outside of yourself to feel your own light, and you are no longer projecting your pain onto others in order to feel powerful. So as you shift your consciousness, you release the need to be inferior or above or below another being. You come into the understanding of unity consciousness and the idea that we are all one being in light. This is what we would like to teach you. When we speak to you about the process of forgiveness, it is not to be forgiven by Source. This is a process of a human mind forgiving itself. Forgiveness is not about you asking for forgiveness from Source and receiving it so that you can be redeemed. This is about redeeming self. This is about rebirthing self. This is about healing self. It is about shifting conscious thoughts within yourself in which you have held in your own mind and energy, and in a way kept yourself in what you might call a bondage to the thoughts that you have projected into your reality. When you work through the energy of forgiveness, you release the bondage in which you have kept in your energetic field and mind that have kept you stuck in cycles and patterns that no longer serve you in the direction of ascension. As you may know, those who have volunteered on Earth are here to help the process of light enhance for the human race to understand themselves differently. However, they are not here to do the shift for them. By teaching, by guiding, and by being a light vessel for the human mind to comprehend it itself, they are then able to reflect into their own light to see themselves differently. This is what you may call Jesus did upon the earth, reflecting back to those humans in which he related to, why he was here, about their own potential, their own power, their own abilities to heal and perceive the world around them. This is why he even spoke about, you will do greater things than he. As his understanding that Earth would ascend and allow more and more light beings to come to assist humanity and then awaken humanity, and then humanity coming back into the comprehension and understanding of self, this allows you to comprehend yourself as Jesus comprehended itself or himself. As you may or may not understand, the teachings in which he gave to humanity were about ascension. This was not about servicehood. This was not about being above or below or worshiped or controlled or needing to look outside of self for power or resources or forgiveness. This was about you being rebirthed, reborn within your own frequency, within your own self. This is what it means to be born again. In every moment and every opportunity you have for growth through forgiveness, through the new perspective that you would have of yourself and the world around you, and releasing the karmic cycles of dense energy that you have brought into your field through experiences here on earth, you begin to be rebirthed or reborn and therefore ascend. This is what the teachings of Jesus were about: ascension, being reborn, and allowing yourself to see yourself differently, as if you are not seeing yourself through the projected lens of trauma or pain that has come into your life. The more light frequency you bring into your consciousness, the more you are capable to reflect that outwards, which then gives the reality around you a chance to shift as well. As you may know or may not know, there is a unity consciousness taking place on earth at this time, and by each of you shifting your reality, you are beginning to shift the reality of all things, as you are all working together as one, whether you realize this or not. And when one light turns on, this helps to reflect into the field of consciousness of all humanity, and then another light can turn on. This is why Jesus even came, to bring light back to the earth, to help it to begin the process of ascension, which has been happening for over 2,500 years now on earth in your time. This is a process that the earth has asked to go through and has gone through many other times through the ascension and creation of itself. Earth is a being of light in which continues to expand its consciousness, and those beings who reside with her or on her also begin to expand their consciousness when she is ascending as well. So as you learn more about yourself, as you expand your conscious mind, remember that you are source, and therefore you do not need source to forgive you or to give you the ability to see yourself differently. It is a reflection that you are source. Therefore, you see yourself differently, and that is what gives you the ability to ascend into higher conscious understanding and frequency. The more you do this, the more you see the reality of yourself from a multidimensional perspective, understanding that this experience that you are currently in is temporary, and anything that is happening in your field of consciousness can be shifted by a simple thought form changing. So, what you will begin to comprehend as you begin to understand yourself differently and continue to grow in expansion of your mind, you will begin to see how you are working as one here on earth and how your light is a comprehension of all lights, reflecting to you as you reflect outward. So we encourage you, as you continue this process, remember, this is not something your soul does not already know. This is something that you are very well aware of in your understanding of truth within the frequency of the divine in which you reside in eternity. This temporary experience as a human is just a shut off of that knowledge and then an awakening of that knowledge. Allow yourself to remember what your soul already knows and forgive yourself for the trespasses in which you do not know that you have completed or interacted with here on earth. This is what Jesus was reporting at the time that you say he died. Forgive them of their trespasses, for they do not know what they do. Just as none of you know what you do because your mind is shut off from this form of light that you truly are. Remember who you are. Remember that you are light. Remember that you are the divine frequency itself projected into a human form, and come back to the knowledge of your soul's frequency. We love you deeply. You are supported in this ascension, and we look forward to continued path on ascension for your earth experience. All right, so I don't know what just said. I hope that was helpful. I would love if you would leave a comment, follow, share, help me grow my YouTube. That would be super fantastic. If you like the channeling, I do channeling for free here on YouTube every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. You're always welcome to come watch. If you want to ask questions to the Wisdom Keepers, come join my Ascension membership. It's only $40 a month, and you get access to weekly channelings, and you can ask as many questions as you want when you're in Ascension membership, as long as time allows. So come join us, and while you're doing that, grab my book, Parables for a New Earth, on Amazon or my website. And if you want a private channeling session, I do those as well. Just get on my website and book one of your calls. Thank you for being here. I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.